Hello everybody, my name is Sean and I will be your tool leader today. We have a very interesting journey to the heart of my psychology. Actually, I do not promise that you will find the answer of all these questions, but hopefully you will find some very good clues where to look at to find some very interesting and suitable answers. Are you interested?
Yes.
Okay. Louder, please, because I know in the afternoon you're all tired. Are you interested, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have to warn you because of the time limitation. We have to go very fast, so fasten your seatbelt and sit tight, and let the game begin. Before we go further, I need to ask you to be doing me a favor. I show you some pictures. I need to you look at these pictures carefully and consider your feelings. And remember, we need these feelings through our journey. Okay? This one, and this one. Okay, hopefully you feel something. Actually, behaviorism starts when one physiologist named Ivan Pavlov first considered the same things that you consider in dogs. And we don't go to the experience of Pavlov. I just share with you the result of this observation. Pavlov understands that if an unconditional stimulus like food that naturally cause an action that we set as action or respond action, right? If something happened that food combined with some conditional stimulus like whistling, if they happen together for a long time, for a period of time, it happens that even without the natural cause, the things that happen naturally when you, for example, eating food, it is natural that you're releasing saliva. This action is, for example, drooling. But if they combine with whistling, for example, in the dogs, after a while, even without having the food, by just whistling, the dogs start releasing saliva. And it happens that not only we don't need food after a while, but even if they combine together and the dogs respond to whistling, it happens that we can use this whistling, this conditional stimulus, to use another thing. For example, another conditional stimulus like light. So we can use the whistling to make a light as a natural neutral stimulus to turn it to a conditional stimulus. If you don't understand it yet, we go even deeper with the experience of the next psychologist that we go deeper in the behaviorism. John Watson, a US psychologist who read about Pavlov's experience and tried to do it in human beings. As Watson know that we as human beings or experience or previous experience can interfere with our current observation or current experience, he tried to use a person with have the minimum experience. So he chose a 9-month boy, famously named as Little Albert, and the experience is very simple. They put Little Albert in a room and put a white rat in the room. They observed that in the beginning, Little Albert tried to reach that rat, tried to play with it. But whenever Little Albert tried to reach that rat, they make a very loud sound and frightening Little Albert. So Little Albert is scared and start crying. After a while, they observed that not only Little Albert do not like that white rat, but whenever he saw that rat, he start crying, he start to get away from it. So it shows that they can change a pleasant observation to an unpleasant observation based on these things. And it gets even more interesting when they observe that little Albert not only afraid of that white rat, but also afraid of all white things and all fairy things. For example, he start frightening from white rabbit. He start even frightening from white blanket. So Watson successfully shows that how our fear can expand, how our all feelings can expand. For example, if fear, for example, if you in the childhood, a person frightened from a person with a curly hair, it happened that when he grow up, he also hates the people with curly hair. Actually, we don't go any further with Watson, but Watson is very important for us as sales and marketers because he was one of the first person who bring say psychological concepts and put it in the marketing and sales material. Watson actually launched very successful marketing campaigns in US, and if you ever wonder who you have to thankful for coffee break, that's Watson. Watson actually developed the coffee break concept when he worked for Maxwell Coffee. He developed that we all need a coffee break, and it's one of the campaign that Watson developed, and the core concept is the same. That's if you have a feeling for something, for example, like if you like a cologne, and a person wear that cologne for a long time, it happens that you start liking that person too. You expand your feeling of liking that cologne to that person. Or in the marketing, for example, if you see a young, healthy man with a brand of ice cream, it happens that unconsciously, when you think about being young, or when you think being healthy, you unconsciously think about that brand of ice cream. Okay, it's a very nice example of using Watson's principle in Big Bang Theory. I don't go to it because it's a little long, but I highly recommend it. Go and see that episode. It is very good example of Watson. It's a little absolute about behaviorism. That sentence is exactly from Watson, but Watson say that against eugenists, the person who believe in genes, and the racists. You know, it's Watson was live in the heart of the time that people believe in some rubbish of racists and other things. They use, for example, the natural selection principle that said if we are rich, we're supposed to be rich. If we are rich, we select to be rich. And Watson said that no, you are rich because you are in a good behavior and you are in a good environment. Give me a good environment and give me a child and I turn it to whatever you want. Even a thief, a murderer, natural killer, or a genius. The genes is nothing. You know, it's a little absolute, but think about it in this way. We don't stop in a Watson going to another person. Sorry. B.F. Skinner. B.F. Skinner is also very important in behaviorism because he expanded the concept of behaviorism. He get the behaviorism and put it in a higher level. Skinner actually said that the unconditional or conditional stimulus is important, but it's not the main important. The things that is very important, the principle, is the things that happen after action. That's the point that we have to consider. Actually, I explained the Skinner's experience with an example to you. I just put this expression to be familiar. Don't be so worried about them. I explain it with an example to you. You understand it completely. Imagine that you are walking in the street and you see a very handsome man or a very beautiful girl. So you see something, and because of that, imagine that because you like that person, you look at him, smile at him, and say hi. That's your action. Then two things can happen. Imagine that that person look back at you, smile at you, and say hi. That's a positive reinforcer. It's pleasant, so it happened that if you do it for a long time, for a while, you smile to healthy, to handsome people, to beautiful girls, and they smile back at you. It happens that you smile to everybody. You use that road again. So you see, that's positive reinforcement. It strengthens your action. It happens that you do that action again and again and again for a long, long time. Or in the opposite, imagine that when you smile at her or at him, not only he do not smile back at you, but his wife or her husband come and punch you in the head or punch you in the face. Something negative happened, a negative reinforcement. And it happened if you, for example, smile to 2 or 3 or 4 person, and this happened for all these things. It happens that you do not smile to anybody, or even do not smile to even old people. So this action gets weaker and weaker. I have a very interesting example again in Big Bang Theory. I just because it's very short. I hope I share it with you. It's another very interesting. You can see all the concepts of.
Are you finished? Well, thank you. How thoughtful. Would you like a chocolate?
Positive reinforcement.
Thanks. Oh, sorry, Sheldon. I almost sat in your spot. Did you? I didn't notice. Have a chocolate.
Positive reinforcement. Okay, and about negative.
You're here a lot now.
Oh, am I talking too much? Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Chocolate?
Yes, please.
Okay, and this one is a negative reinforcer. You see, it's a positive reinforcer. They try to pushing that, do that again, and it happens. No. Just 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry. Okay. The things and the negative, they push the water on the face of Leonard as a negative reinforcer. I just want to show it, but you can, whenever you want, you can go and see that episode. There is always there. Skinner also successfully described the concept of superstition. He did this one is the learning box of the Skinner is very famous. It happened that, for example, they want to learn the animals how to behave this the special action. For example, whenever they push a button, they feed that animal, that pigeon or rat. And they can do it, for example, they put it on a random thing. For example, every 1 to every 3 minutes, in random time, it happens that they give that animal a food, a positive reinforcement. And they observe that after a while, some animals shows some weird actions. Some of the pigeons just turning around for a long time. Some rats just going to a corner and stay there until they give that gift or as a that food as a gift. Skinner say that it's happened that some special action of that animal happened exactly when we give them food. The food is on random. I'm almost done. The food is random, but it happened that that action and giving the food happened together, so that action, that behavior start to repeat, and then the animal do that action, they do that behavior again, and because they finally give him some food, they stress and stress that, so they start doing it again and again. And Skinner expanded to all to all human behaviors too. For example, something that we shows when we want luck. And they see this behavior in humans when they observe some TV shows like Trick and Treats. It shows that people start doing the same things when they do something and win by chance. They even know that it's by chance, but they tend to do exactly the same behavior because they think that maybe it is increase their chance of doing it. Okay, we are at the end of our journey together. I hope that I start a curiosity in you to go and think about it. I should warn you that we go very fast. I don't show everything to you. To just see very small side of behaviorism and psychology. So it's a good idea that come back and read more about it. And I give you some hints about the other things. Actually, the other person who give the behaviorism and put it in a higher level is Hans Eysenck. But you see that we are almost at this old area. He died in 1997. He accepted the Skinner's concept, but he combine it, mix it with the physiology of human. I do not ascribe Hans Eysenck's theory because the needs that you know about human physiology, especially about hormones and neurons, hormones like adrenaline and cortisol and somatosterone. And I give you a hint that he tried to describe the different persons' levels of responding to these things. We all face the same feedback from environment, but we react in different ways. That's because of our hormones. That's because of our individual physiology. And Eysenck tried to describe it, and as you see, it's the beginning of organizing people in different characteristics. You see, he divided people in 4 different characteristics. It's the beginning of this era. I highly recommend you to go and learn more about it. The other thing is cognitive science. They tried not only include physiology but other things too. I do not describe it at all, but it's another clue that you can go and read more. But I have to warn you that whenever you read about psychology, especially about psychological problems like schizophrenia, polarism, or narcissism, it happens that sometimes you see the same symptoms in you or the people around you. Be careful about it. Go deep inside psychology. Just reading about psychology as a surface is not a good thing. Just go deep inside it and read about it because it's really good, but be careful about it. And it's not a very big deal. Don't worry about it. At the end, I should say that knowledge is really beautiful. We are not geniuses, but we fortunately have already enough geniuses that show us the road. And we can use their road that they already built for us to go. They help us to go in a higher level, help you to go in a higher level and see the things in a higher level. And believe me that it is really, really beautiful. Thank you for your time and patience, and please ask me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Any questions, anyone? Then
The most hardest part is that I put it in the 15 minutes. It's
Yeah.
very hard.
I have a question. For you personally, what is the benefit of this? Since you chose this as a topic, for you personally, why is it that you wanted to understand this?
Well, tourism first is that I personally learned a lot about psychology, so I try to make other people curious about psychology because it's really helpful to know yourself and other people. Second thing is, as all, we are all sales and people and marketers, we have to know about behaviorism because it's the beginning of using psychology in marketing. So it's I think it's necessary. It's not just some value adding. It's necessary. And the last thing is, as for example here, that's happened that if you know about it, you can control your behaviors to others and you can lead other people in a way that you want by shaping theory. It's I just described it very fast, so you have to go this. But shaping theory said as there, for example, there are two blades of a scissor as you shape your hair in a barbery, but the scissor, these two things, as you see in the picture, shape our behavior in the long run. So all these things together just make me choose this topic for this presentation. Any other question? Nothing.
No. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.